Hello, art friends. It's Carolyn here today working in my art journal, and today we're going to be talking about layers. I'm working on a denim page in my Dina Wakley blue journal, and I first glued down a coffee filter that had a little bit of paint on it. And when gluing to a fabric page, you have to use a lot more glue because the fabric just absorbs it up. I have these pieces which are trimmings from a video I did making Valentine's Day cards. So I'll put that up in the iCard if you want to take a look. But I was trimming them down to make them fit onto a black cardstock backing, just, to give it a finished look. And I had all these small strips and I thought these would be cool to use. So another layer on my page. I had some round, I had some lines up and down, so I took these black strips and decided to go at a diagonal. I'm putting down on the other side of the page some glue to glue these strips down, and these are on cardstock, which is very challenging to glue down because it's much thicker, not normally what I would use to collage. And I'm just using normal decoupage. I probably should have used like a golden heavy gel, or Dina Wakley, her heavy gel would have been a lot better to glue it down. I had a little bit of a hard time, so I ended up letting it dry with a parchment sheet in between with some books stacked on top, just to make sure it was glued down really well. I'm not thinking too much about what I'm putting down and where I'm putting it down, just trying to get this whole entire page covered. Say hi to Leo. He's coming to check out my work, making sure I'm doing a good job. Better watch out because he's going to get that tail glued down in my book. So you'll notice when I'm putting another layer of the glue on top, it looks a little chalky and it dries clear, and you can really see that transition now that it's dry. But I'm going to add a layer of gesso on it, just to kind of, push it back into the background more. I really didn't have a plan when I started this page. It might have been easier to do some of these stages in a different, these layers in a different order, but I just really didn't know where I was going. I'm going to do a little journaling on the black strips using my white Posca. And you're going to see these pages go through a big transformation. And at any point in time, I'm really curious if you're going to yell or scream at me, "Stop, what are you doing?" Let me know. Let me know what version of these pages you like, because it really goes through a big transformation. Starting here right now, I take this turquoise spray and I spray it all over both pages. Took a piece of paper and kind of took a print of it, which was cool, but really it was just to remove a little bit of that paint. And I love how on the right side you can actually see some of those pink colors. But a little bit bright, so I'm putting more gesso on top. Wiping it off. So I cut these rings out of dictionary pages and just trying it out before I glue them in. But I decided to bring in another color, a very warm color. I think it's called Transoxide Red, which is similar to a Quin Gold, I think. And the idea, of course, is more layers, and I'm kind of going for this grungy look, almost like a weathered paint where there's all kinds of layers underneath. I took a woody crayon and just to bring a little bit more of that turquoise color. And now I decided to glue down those dictionary page circles, rings. And I remembered I liked when that inner ring was a little bit offset, and it was kind of hard. These pages are so thin that it was a little challenging to get that repositioned. Now I'm using a aquarelle marker to add some shadowing or outlining. I didn't want anything as stark as like a black pen, which is what I use a lot when I do this type of thing. So I thought this was nice and soft, but I still went back with a paintbrush with water to try to soften it up. I just think it helps make that part pop. So I'm going to start working on the right side of the page using this stencil. I'm using some distressed sprays as well as a Dina Wakley gloss spray. Spraying through this stencil, I'm going to shift it down a little bit to continue it, just so I can have something that covers the entire page. So I'll do a little bit more line work with that same marker. Not really trying to do shadows, which if I were doing that, I'd try to stay, say the light was coming from the upper left, I'd do my lines on the right and underneath. This was just to make the whole leaf stand out a little bit more. And the last thing I do to this is I get out my oil pastels and just add a little bit more color. Very subtle. And I do also try to do a little vignetting around it. And that just means where the edges and corners are a little bit darker, like an old photograph. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to let me know what stage of this was your very favorite. And I hope this inspires you to go create something. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell, comment, give us a thumbs up, and share.